This is Midrash Tanchuma, Parshat Miketz, entitled, "While He often seems to be late, God is always on time."
The Midrash tackles a difficult question in our Parsha. We know that Yosef had been in slavery since he left at the age of 17, and then he ends up in jail. And there he encounters the Sarah Mashkim, the Sarah Ophim, and here's his big chance. He interprets their dreams. He tells the Sarah Mashkim, please don't forget me. I'm here for no reason. I didn't do anything wrong. And of course, the famous ending to last week's Parsha, V'lo zachar Sarah Mashkim et Yosef vayishkachehu. Completely forgot about him. No gratitude there. Okay, so what happens now? Yosef has to wait 2 years until he finally has his chance. And the famous question is, why does he have to wait and languish for 2 more years? What did he do wrong? So the famous answer is what Rashi says, that he shouldn't have put his full faith and trust in a man. Only God can save him. I must say it's a difficult answer because there is a notion of people doing their hishtadlus. I mean, here you have a chance meeting in jail between somebody who has the political connections to actually help you get out of jail, and suddenly you're reliving what happened back when you were in Yaakov's home. You have these abilities to interpret dreams. It comes back to you. You know it's a way of God communicating with you. You know it comes from God, and they're all on the mark, exactly what happens. So it seems like salvation is at hand. Why wouldn't you ask the Sarah Mashkim to help you? So the Midrash Tanchuma takes a completely different tact. The Midrash says that what was going on here is, well, it embeds the answer, let me say, in a halacha and a follow-up question. And from that, you will see the answer. The halacha is, if you happen to witness rain coming exactly at the right time when people need it, what bracha do you say? So the Midrash says, you have to say the bracha tov meitiv if you're in that situation when you actually see that rain is needed and it comes exactly the right time. Now there's a follow-up question, and here is embedded the answer for why Yosef had to languish for 2 more years. It says, by the way, where does rain come from? So Relez Omer, Ha'olam Kulo Mimei Okeanos, Hushoseh. By the way, rain comes from the ocean. It's ocean water that, turns into the clouds and then comes down as rain. So Rabbi Yeshua asks, wait a second, Valome Okeanos Meluchim, isn't that salty? That's not good for crops. So he answers, Rabbi Eliezer answers, no, that these waters are being sweetened from while they're up in the clouds. Okay, what does it have to do with Yosef? Well, perhaps you can guess what the Midrash is really saying in an embedded and mysterious way is that God is controlling the timing in a perfect way. And sometimes it seems like you're waiting a long time for something, but it's actually the exactly right time. For example, let's say, and I'm going to also give credit to Ber Hamarim here, the Perush on Midrash Tanchuma, who also points this out. Let's say the Sarah Mashkim was actually showed his gratitude, and as soon as he got back to his post, he said, Pharaoh, there's a guy who interprets dreams, and that's how I got out of here. Can you help him out? And they said, yeah, sure. We'll get him out of jail. We'll put him in some other home. I mean, after all, he's a Ivri, he's a foreigner, and he has a criminal record. We'll put him in we'll get you another placement as a servant somewhere else. And then came time when Paro had this dream and he's frustrated with his Chartumim. Go find Yosef. Where is he? Or maybe if the Sarah Mashkim had pulled strings for Yosef, he wouldn't want to do it a second time and mention Yosef again. Or maybe he would look foolish because maybe Paro would have said, oh, you could have told me 2 years ago. I would have put him in my special group of soothsayers and Chartumim who interpret dreams. Whatever, it worked out exactly perfectly. He had the guilt that for 2 years he didn't he didn't pay back this great favor that Yosef had done, interpreting a dream, seemingly paving the way for him getting back his position, while his compatriot there didn't have such a good outcome. So he had 2 years of guilt, plus he knew exactly where Yosef was. He was in jail where he left him. So there you have it. It wasn't that the timing that Yosef was being punished, rather God was waiting for exactly the right time. And that's how Yosef was able to go in 10 minutes from a slave to the viceroy of Egypt, because the timing was perfect. So it's a beautiful Midrash, and perhaps we all can look back on our own lives and think of something that maybe we thought took just too long. We wanted it, we thought we were ready for it, and it just didn't happen. And somehow in retrospect we look back and say, that really was the right time. So what really is going on in that case in your life? God is sweetening the salty waters. That's what God does. God makes the timing right. Have a great Shabbos.